I think that dishonesty comes at more of a cost than people will ever know, too. When you're deceptive, when you're hiding things, I think it comes at a cost, whether it's physically tearing away and eating away at you. But I know for myself, there's no way I would have enjoyed this beautiful handbag every day knowing that it was essentially stolen. I don't think I would have been able to use it and feel right. But that's who we are.
Yeah. This is Ryan and Michelle, and welcome to the Celebrate Marriagecast, where we hope to restore and reclaim godly marriages through honest and real conversations.
Welcome to episode 76. We're so proud of you for investing in your relationship, and we're so glad that you're here with us today.
Yeah. Quick note, Michelle. Happy belated birthday.
Thank you.
Had a birthday over the weekend.
Yeah, that's
exciting.
Right. March 2nd. Yeah, thank you very much.
Very exciting.
Mm-hmm.
So
just a little bit wiser.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Wiser, more beautiful. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Thank you.
All of those things. That's great.
Thanks, love.
All right. So we want to share about a topic today. Mm-hmm. And we've got, actually, crazy enough, we've got 3 different stories all in the last year of how this topic
lasts like 4 months.
Yeah. Last 4 months.
That's crazy.
And they're crazy, but they all revolve around a topic that I think is integral to life, I think to marriages. And we're talking about integrity, right? The kind that no one sees but God, the kind that lets you sleep peacefully at night with zero guilt and shame. It's about being Jesus, what we're called to do and live out. We've got a scripture I think we're going to start off with here, Michelle, Luke 8:17.
Yep, I'm reading from the NLT. It says, "For all that is secret will eventually be brought into the open, and everything that is concealed will be brought to light and made known to all." It's underneath the parable of the lamp.
Yeah, and the verse directly reinforces the idea that integrity matters because eventually everything we do, good or bad, will be revealed.
Yeah.
And I think we can say that with confidence. I think anything will be revealed.
At some point, you're going to have to answer to God.
Right.
So you can hide it now, but at some point, the truth will come to light.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. The first story we want to share, this is a crazy one.
Yeah.
So we were...
Get ready.
Yeah, we were on a little weekend getaway for our anniversary.
And first, listeners, picture yourself in this scenario because we're going to ask you what you would do. It's like one of those choose your own adventure stories. We want to know what you would do.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I like that.
Yeah.
That's good.
So you're in Omaha.
Yeah. So we were...
Anniversary weekend.
Yeah. We had just finished dinner. We had a nice dinner. Mm-hmm. We were going back to our car. We were in a parking garage, walking up the stairs. And there we see on the stairs a wallet.
And I was in the front, and my first thought was, is this the moment we get mugged in a parking garage stairwell in Omaha? So I looked up the stairs and I looked down and I was like, is this a trick?
Yeah. Yeah. I actually thought it was empty. I figured somebody had probably taken it, stolen it, and ditched it.
Yeah.
That was kind of my first thought.
I picked it up.
Yes.
And you're like, oh no, somebody's wallet got stolen.
Yeah. And
I flipped it open. And inside.
Yeah, there was $1,000
plus
$1,053 in it.
Cash money.
Yeah, we did count it.
I opened it up and I was like, Ryan, we need to get to our car right now. Because I wanted to look for his ID, the person's ID.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't feel safe, right? I don't know what's happening. We need to get to our car.
Yeah. Yeah. And this is where integrity matters. Because we could have, we could have taken some money. We could have left it. We could have done a lot of things. But
what do you think the listeners are thinking? What would you guys do? You're right. You could have taken the cash, chucked the wallet. The guy could have thought someone stole it and never tracked it down.
Right.
No cameras in the stairwell. I don't think there were.
Yeah.
It's kind of not sketchy, but
Well,
it was
kind of. Yeah, I don't know.
a little
I guess
bit
maybe.
dark. I'm pretty sure there were not cameras in there.
Yeah. I think in that moment you have a decision to make on what you're going to do. And
what did the O'Connors do?
Yeah. So we started like going like investigation mode. We tried to find this gentleman who had lost his wallet. I think he had a LinkedIn page. Nothing else.
I was like, Ryan, I don't think he's going to be checking his LinkedIn on the weekend, but I don't really know. But if he's going out with this much cash, probably not checking his LinkedIn. But.
Right. Yeah. So we were trying to find like the address. He was from out of town as well. So it's like, okay, I'm not going to drive to his house, or the address on his driver's license.
Right.
So, then we proceeded to, or I should say I proceeded to walk around the parking garage for quite an extended period of time.
We found a bunch of credit cards in there too, and a library card. So I'm like, the dude is solid, right? Library card must be,
reader.
Intellect,
Yeah.
And we thought about turning it in to, I don't know, like the authorities, but then I don't know, how do you guarantee that the guy gets his cash back? So Ryan and I felt like we needed to find this guy.
Yeah.
You start walking around the ramp.
So
we're yelling his name out.
Just walking.
What was his name again?
I don't remember. But you're calling his name out, walking around, trying to find this guy. And I don't know how long this went on. I don't know.
Maybe 20 minutes. But you were certain. You were like, he'll be back.
Yeah.
Guarantee he will be back.
I figured he would be coming back that way at some point. And sure enough, I was in the stairwell and this guy comes like I could hear him yelling like, oh no, like he was panicked. He comes kind of running down the stairs, just sweating, like just panic. And like him and I lock eyes and I'm like, hey, how's it going? And he's like, it's not good at all. And I think that at that point, like, I don't know, did I ask him like if he had lost something?
Yeah, and then I was like, but wait, because he had said, yeah, I lost a wallet. And then you were about ready to say, well, we have it. But I said, but wait, what's your name?
Yeah.
I wanted to verify.
Yeah. And anyway, it was him. And we were able to return his wallet to him. He was just so ecstatic. I think I got multiple hugs from him. Complete stranger. So, I mean, that was fine. He also gave me the random $53 that was in, or $57, whatever it was. That didn't really matter to me, but
so
it was kind of cool. And then like, what was really funny about this, as like we kind of turn, we're walking away, the door is like shutting, and I hear him just yelling at the top of his lungs, praise Jesus, praise Jesus.
Yeah.
And, it was kind of at that point of like, wow, integrity matters. What you do matters.
Yeah. We were Jesus to him. We say at our church, meet Jesus, be Jesus. That means living out a life of faith in the community. And I feel like we were Jesus to him. We, who would have done, I don't know. I don't know how many other people would have done that, but we did that. God knew, he knew. I can go to bed at night knowing that we didn't take this dude's money. Like, I don't ever have to think about that again. I can feel really solid about that, knowing that we were incredible witnesses of Christ to this guy. And the fact that he was like, praise Jesus, like he knew. Yeah. He knew.
Yeah.
Most people wouldn't do that.
Right.
But that's what we're called to do.
Right.
So such a crazy story. I love that story. Thanks for sharing that, Ryan.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's so true in our relationships and in our marriages. I'm drawing this conclusion about, here it is, a dark alley or stairwell, right? No one's watching.
Yeah.
And I think it's what are you doing in those moments to live out what God calls you to? And whether that's as a husband and wife, are there those moments in your day where there is, no one's watching? What are you doing? What are you doing? Are you living out what God is calling you to do in those moments when no one's watching?
I think that's what makes your character, right? Those moments that, maybe your spouse wouldn't know what you're looking at, who you're messaging on social media, what you're thinking about. But that's integrity. That's your character. That's what makes you up. And eventually that stuff will come out. The more that you let that seep in, that does define you. That does make you. I mean, we're going to talk about this. I think I have this in here for later, but it creates kind of a bridge. The more that you compromise, the easier it is. Yeah. You become that person. We talked about that last week 2 weeks ago with the smoothie values, that eventually one action, one day, the next week, the next month, the next year, that becomes who you are. The more that you compromise, then all of a sudden, you are that guy. You are that gal. And I don't think you're listening. I don't think that's who you want to be. So it's just like taking not only your thoughts captive, but your actions too.
Yeah.
It takes real discipline. I mean, when you open a wallet and there's over $1,000 cash, what did he say? He was like, I just had those printed today. And I was like, Ryan, he wasn't talking counterfeit, right? Is that just what the kids say, when they go to the ATM now? You said that. Yeah. So I don't know. Maybe if you're younger and hipper, tell us, does that mean going to the ATM? Yeah. But younger guy, probably in his 20s, right? Anyways, so, I have one more scripture. Yeah. Proverbs 10:9. It says, whoever walks in integrity walks securely, but he who makes his ways crooked will be found out. Yeah. I have another story. And as we take you on this journey of stories, I hope, one, that you're able to maybe be inspired. Wow, who are these guys? And you know what? Maybe at the end of the show, you might just think, wow, those guys are idiots.
I hope not, but
maybe you'll think that. Maybe. All of these stories and all of the things that we're doing and turning down. But I hope that you are inspired and encouraged to be like, wow, look at Ryan and Michelle living above reproach, living so that, at the end of our days, we can be like, God, here we are. Here's what we did it's like the parable of the talents. You gave us 1, 3, 5, whatever. Here's what we did with it. Yeah. And we honored your ways. And here we are. And you're going to examine our hearts and everything that we've done. And we're not going to have anything to be ashamed of. Right. So, all right. Ready for a story?
Yeah.
Story number 2. What would you do? Okay, so we have kind of a unique health sharing. It's not insurance. It's called Christian Healthcare Ministries. And it's like cost sharing, where if we have a medical incident, we can submit it to them and they can review our receipts and share our expenses back. So we'll get a check and then we can go and pay the hospital, clinic, wherever we've gone. So, as you know, Ryan had some pretty major medical invoices, bills last year with his ACL. So, I've been processing those. You have a ton of physical therapy. And fun fact, not necessarily recommended, but when I originally submitted this, we had gotten 10% off. But then because it was so long, they gave us 50% off on top of that 10%. So not saying you should keep waiting to pay things, but it was I was like, oh, the longer I waited, it dramatically increased the discount. Anyways, so I had told them that I'd gotten this discount, but in the interim, they had cut the check and they sent it to me and they never caught it. And we actually got 2 checks. One for $2,413.35 over what they were intending to pay us, and one for $1,972.35 over, not a total amount, over. So all in all, we received an excess of $4,385.70 over what we were supposed to get. And literally nobody would know. Now, it is a thing to be in this cost-sharing program. You do sign that you are going to act out of Christian values and they're trusting you. So one, that is who we are. So of course, I sent the first check back. And the second one, I called and I said, hey, I want you to know what happened. I have some other bills I'm turning in, but this is the amount over. I told them that full amount. I just told you, this is the amount over. I'm going to be sending it back, but I'm also turning in some more receipts. I thought they might wash out. So instead of you guys cutting another check, we can see where it shakes out. But I just want it on record that I got more discounts. Here's what you overpaid us as of now. And they were like, yeah, like, thank you. And they expect that too, as this whole part of the program. But all that to say is that if we had kept the money, maybe nobody would have known, but it goes back to that compromising in one area. Like, it becomes easier and easier to compromise, and integrity in finances, integrity in marriage, it's all connected.
Yeah.
So maybe in your marriage, we just talked about earlier about, what you're looking at, what you're doing, but maybe it's financially. Where are you spending your money in your marriage? Let's talk about that for a moment.
Yeah. I mean, I think this is an area where I think it is a big deal, and I think it matters. I think where you're spending funds, like, are you open and honest about where you're spending money? Are there things hidden? Because I think potentially, like, that's where trust gets broken, because I think there are things that are hidden. And, we joke a lot about coffee consumption because we both really love coffee, but
that is like our splurge, which
yeah. But I mean, it comes back to this question of integrity. Are you hiding, shopping trips? Are you hiding, whatever? It doesn't have to be like shopping, but maybe it's you spend a lot of money on golf, or you spend a lot of money on hunting. Like, are you hiding something from your spouse when it comes to your finances?
Yeah, we were doing some errands this weekend, and we drove by a casino going to one of the thrift stores we go to, and there was a minivan parked in the parking lot, which doesn't really mean anything, but I just thought, oh wow, that probably means they have kids, and that it was just a weird sight. Sure. I thought to myself, I wonder if their spouse knows, like, they're there. Hey, honey, like, watch the kids. I'm going to go out I don't know. It was a weird sight. So are there areas that you're not fully transparent with your spouse? Maybe it's that, Ryan, you talked about shopping. I do think that is a good example, because I feel like I've heard women say that. Oh yeah, I can't tell my husband about this one. Oh, it's kind of a joke. Oh yeah, I'm not going to tell him about this online order, or, you'll see a TikTok, or I'm not on TikTok, but sometimes they make their way through to Facebook or Instagram. But, I didn't tell my husband about my 10 packages coming from, whatever company. And it's like this joke, but that's not really that funny. You're omitting what you're sharing with your spouse, and omission is also a form of deception.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you're spot on. I think that happens a lot, and I think it's, again, it's compromising in one area, and I think that makes it easier to compromise in other areas as well. So, but this is finance. I think is a one area that, again, like, there shouldn't be things hidden.
Yeah. We talked about that when we did our sermon about same team.
Yeah.
When you're married, everything is now ours, and there are different areas of ownership. We talked about career, family, but we also talked about finances. So having that out in the open.
Yeah. Absolutely.
For your spouse to see.
Yeah. Absolutely. Michelle, there's a verse, Proverbs 11:3.
Yep.
It says, the integrity of the upright guides them, but the crookedness of the treacherous destroys them.
Yep. I have the NLT, and it says, honesty guides good people. Dishonesty destroys treacherous people.
So again, like, that supports the point that integrity isn't just about one decision. It's a guiding principle that shapes everything. It shapes your whole life, shapes your marriage, your relationships.
Yeah, or it can destroy it.
Yeah.
As that verse just said, it can either build it up or it can tear it down.
Absolutely.
You know,
Yeah.
What is that? Is there a movie where it was like Throne of Lies? Was that Elf? You sit on a throne of lies.
Oh, I think it is Elf. Yeah.
I don't know why I thought of that just now.
Right. Yeah, I think that's right.
But just talking about what is your marriage? Are you making it up or are you destroying? Are you building it up or are you tearing it down? Are you building it up on truth or are you tearing it down with deception?
Yeah. Yeah. All right, Michelle, we've got a third story.
I have a prop.
Last one here.
I have a prop for this one. I'm going to set it in the middle here.
We were shopping this past weekend.
Yeah.
And we purchased a couple of bags for Michelle. There's one right here. So
that's beautiful.
We went to pay, and the cashier scanned the first bag,
which was a laptop case that was relatively affordable. It was $40. It was much lower than the other.
Much lower. And then she put both like handbags in the larger bag.
Had even cut the security. So the first bag, the genuine leather, Italian leather handbag, the one that had all the beepers on it, the clerk had to go over, had to unlock the shelf, had to get it off of the bar. The other bag was whatever. It was just sitting on the shelf. This Italian leather bag is the one that had all the security.
Yeah. Yeah.
Went in the bag.
And then like the total pops up. And I was like, like in my head, I'm sitting there trying to calculate. I'm like, that doesn't seem right. Like, and then I was thinking, oh, maybe there's a sale or something. Maybe I missed the sale. But then I'm figuring in my head, I'm like, well, that's a really big sale. Like
huge.
Like what does it buy? Like one cheaper, get an expensive one for free or something like that, So I'm in my head, I'm like, that's not right. And so like then I say that I'm like, yeah, I don't think the total's right. And then the gal that was the cashier was like, did I not scan that other bag? And I'm like, yeah, I don't think so, because like the price is this, the price of that first bag.
Yeah.
And again, this is a situation that the tags were cut off of that.
Sensors were taken off. We could have paid, and we could have gotten an Italian leather bag for free. She didn't even realize it. No. She didn't until we brought it up. I mean, we could have just tapped our card and on our way, oh, yeah, tap. Okay, right. Thanks. Right. Yeah. Yeah, but I think it goes back to who you are. And I think it goes back to those guiding principles that you have, and how you walk every single day in your life, how you walk in your marriage, all of those things. Like, who are you when no one's looking, when that decision needs to be made? Who are you? I think too, Ryan, I think that dishonesty comes at more of a cost than people will ever know too. When you're deceptive, when you're hiding things, I think it comes at a cost, whether it's physically tearing away and eating away at you. But I know for myself, there's no way I would have enjoyed this beautiful handbag every day knowing that it was essentially stolen. I mean, we weren't stealing it, but it was not dutifully rung up the way it should have been, that it was just a loss to the store. I would not have been able to, I don't think I would have been able to use it and feel right. But that's who we are. Yeah. It was a teenage cashier. She, her reaction wasn't as big as I thought it would be. She did say, oh, that would have been bad. And I wanted to be like, yeah, you think? Like, that would have been pretty bad. Like, it would have been bad. But we don't have that stress that we're carrying around, because when there's nothing hidden, there's nothing to be preoccupied about or hidden, or nothing eating us away. I can just enjoy this gift. Ryan, it was Valentine's gift, Ryan knew I'd been wanting a really nice bag that would last for a while, and it was just his splurge gift for me. And I would not have enjoyed it going that other route.
Yeah. Yeah, Michelle, I think it's spot on about how like now you can enjoy it. You know, there wouldn't be that cloud over it. You know, I heard this said as, you know, and I think it applies directly to this. You know, I think being truthful, walking in integrity is hard, but the opposite is also very hard. Choose which hard you want.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Yeah, just the examples that I gave, I think it would have eaten away at me.
Right, the guilt, the shame, all of that comes with that decision.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, you know, verse being upright, walking in who God calls you to be.
Yeah.
I think the reward is much greater.
Yeah, I'm sure that some people might think, wow, as I said earlier, you guys are idiots. You know, you missed out.
Right.
But here's the thing. When you walk in integrity, God also provides.
Yeah. Blessings.
He provides blessings.
Yeah.
I want to read one more scripture. This is Matthew 25:21. Actually, I have a few more yet, but this is Matthew 25:21. This is the parable of the three servants. So this is basically a master gave his servant some money to take care of while he was out, and they did different things with it. One invested, one worked with it, and one just like dug a hole in the ground and buried it. Well, I'm going to read from verse 21. The master, for the one that had the 5 bags of silver, came forward with 5 more and said, "Master, you gave me 5 bags of silver to invest, and I have earned 5 more." So he was a really good steward with this money. And the master was full of praise. "Well done, my good and faithful servant. You have been faithful in handling this small amount, so now I will give you more responsibilities. Let's celebrate together." I think of that often. I want God to say that to me. "Well done, my good and faithful servant. You have been faithful in handling this small amount, so now I will give you many more responsibilities. Let's celebrate together." I think I'd like to hear that someday in heaven. "Well done, my good and faithful servant." But I think God's also doing that now. And I think we're seeing that in our marriage because of how we've done with all of these little, I don't know, opportunities that have come up.
Yeah. Yeah. For sure. I mean, I think there has been so many blessings that have come from, you know, different things, different opportunities, you know, gift cards, things that just kind of show up.
Yeah.
You know,
yep.
I mean,
checks that we didn't need to return that truly were, you know,
right.
We had some medical bills that I didn't think would be covered, and they were. We had a blessing check. We had, over the holidays, over Christmas, we had booked an Airbnb for our family, and we've been there probably close to a dozen times. This host knows us well. She loves us and loves our family. She had written back and said, "Oh my gosh, I am going to be gone that day. I messed up, but I don't want to cancel it because it looks bad as a host. So how about this? You cancel it. You can come here and stay for free."
Yeah.
And we were like, wow, Christmas blessing. That's so cool.
Right. Right.
But things like that happen over and over and over. We have a prayer board of answered prayers that are just these blessings out of, I would say, nowhere, but I'm going to put that in quotes because it's not out of nowhere.
Yeah.
You know, so it's been a while since I think I shared this on a show that we have this thing where, like, I used to fling my hands up. I still do it. Fling my hands up in the air and I'll say, like, "Open the floodgates of heaven." So anytime we get one of these blessings, I will do that. I was going to say we, but I feel like I'm the only one that really still sings. But I try to do that just to audibly, visually call out that this is God. We're giving God the credit right now. Like I want everyone in the family to stop right now and realize we are being blessed, and this is from God.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think it just, we don't necessarily do it for that reason. I mean, it's who we are.
Yeah. Yes.
And I think that's a key, like integrity just is who you are. Who you are when no one's looking. I mean, I think I've heard it said that way. And I think part of it is I do believe God rewards that, and I believe that you see blessings from it. Absolutely. I mean, I think we've seen so many of those. Just even in marriage, though. Like I can tell you the reward is so great when you walk in integrity and you have nothing to hide, or you don't have any lies that you're trying to cover up. You can be who you truly are and not have to hide things.
Yeah.
That in itself is a blessing so rich that I mean, I don't know that anything else could be better than that.
I've got nothing to keep track of because it's all the truth. Right. So there's no deceptions I have to remember, and who did I tell this to or that to, or what did I say about that? It's just all out there.
Yeah.
And it's beautiful.
Right. And being an open book, knowing that, that you can love your spouse for exactly who they are, and not have anything, hidden or anything that I'm keeping away from my spouse.
Yeah. I want to go back to a line that I said in our Smoothie Values episode, but if you want something like a value of trust in your relationship, if you want trust, then you yourself must first be a trustworthy person. It's got to start with you. So I hope that our stories have inspired you. If there's something that maybe you need to repent about or talk to your spouse about, or just really reflect about, am I being a person of integrity in each area of my life, with my spouse, with my children, just in my walk as a believer of Jesus? Am I being Jesus in the community? Am I the same person at work as I am at home, as I am at church on Sunday? Am I the same person? Or am I maybe deceiving myself? Just reflect.
Yeah, that's a great word, Michelle. I like that. I like the evaluation of, who am I, and am I the same person in each of these scenarios? I think especially like in your marriage, are you the same person when you're out with your friends that you are when you're out with your spouse? Are you the same person when you're online as you are with your spouse? Like all of these things, am I the same person as I am, in this situation as I am with my spouse?
Social is a great analogy too. I was reading a thread yesterday and just looking at some of the comments, I was like, who are these people? Like, but I'm sure that they're, they're everywhere. Probably, work with them, live by them, drive by them on the street. So, but I think that's such a great check. Are you the person commenting online to random threads? Is that living out your life, or are you shifting? Are you shifting who you are?
Because I would go as far to say if that's if you're a person that is really putting hateful comments on messages on social, that will impact your marriage 100%. Because that doesn't just stop there. That transfers into other areas of your life. So like that is that in particular is 100% integrity of how if you cut it in one area, it will impact other areas of your life. For sure.
Yeah. And I think even for me, it's even just as I was reading those, I was like, I have to get out of this group. It was this group that I was in from the fall. It's it's a missing persons group. And I was like, I want to help, but people are just going crazy. Yeah. And I was like, you know what? At some point I need to just put up my own boundary and guardrail, and maybe I just need to leave this group and help in other ways, But, so yeah, that's what is making you be a better person too. Yeah. So yeah, good word on the social, Ryan. We kind of rabbit trailed there, but I think it was a good rabbit trail. Yeah. So I think we just want you to reflect today. How are you doing in these areas? And did you see yourself in any of these stories? Did you see yourself in that stairwell in Omaha? Did you see yourself getting funds by accident? Has that ever happened to you? Did you see yourself in the store with a little switch up scanning mistake that they didn't notice? Has that happened? And how are you going to choose to react when things like that happen? And just know that carries in other areas of your life. So then take that to your marriage. How are you showing up for your spouse? Are you being a person of integrity and honesty? And do they know? Do they know your whole true self?
Yeah, absolutely.
Thanks, Ryan.
Yeah, thank you, Michelle.
Fun show. Yeah. Well, thank you, listener, for joining us today for episode 76. Gosh, we're just creeping up there with the numbers.
Know, that's
so
great.
Cool.
It's cool.
We really appreciate you listening. Would you do us a huge favor? And if you, depending on what platform you're listening on, but would you subscribe, follow, and would you please leave us a review? That would mean so much. You don't even have to leave a comment. Just leave us a 5-star review. That would be amazing to see that number move up. And know that we have resources for you at Celebrate.church/marriage. We also have our service times and location at Celebrate.church. And if you would like to submit a mystery question that we will answer live on air, you can send that to 605-951-0110. Additionally, we are at Celebrate Marriagecast on Instagram. We hope you have a great week.
Have a great week.